The most successful colonies in RimWorld are the ones with good resource management. Prisoners are one of these resources, so today I'm going to share 10 tips for how to best manage a prison and prisoners. We'll go over topics such as how to build your prison, how to sedate your prisoners, and how best to handle the inevitable prison break. Tip number 0. Before we talk about anything else, I want to address the undisputed number 1 best approach to handling most prisoners. I'm talking, of course, about removing the legs. A prisoner without legs cannot walk and therefore cannot break out of prison, and they can't succumb to any dangerous mental breaks such as berserk. You can remove your prisoner's legs by first performing surgery to give them peg legs, and then perform surgery again to remove those legs. Obviously, this approach is not ideal for any prisoners you may intend to recruit, unless you are in the late game and can easily create bionic legs as needed. And since prisoners can't move, your wardens will need to spend a lot of time keeping them fed. The leg removal method is best used for prisoners that you're farming Hemogen or 𝗥𝖎𝖪 from, or if the prisoners are part of a warden contract from another faction. Tip number 1. A good prison layout will go a long way when it comes to managing your prisoners more easily. A prison barracks is generally superior to individual prison cells. Having your prisoners in a single place reduces the overall travel time of your warden. Simple concrete flooring with a couple large sculptures should be enough to raise the room impressiveness. Just be sure to have no more than 1 door. Additional doors will greatly increase your prison break interval. Tip number 2. A nutrient paste dispenser placed in a prison will allow all prisoners to feed themselves. This is much more efficient than having your warden bring them meals every time. Consider placing your hoppers outside to give your colonists quicker access. Tip number 3. Prisoners have no recreation need, but they do have a comfort need. However, we're going to mostly ignore this comfort need, and you'll see why later. Instead of creating higher quality wooden beds, try to make the lowest possible quality stone beds. Awful stone beds actually have less rest effectiveness than a sleeping spot on the ground. This will cause your prisoners to spend more time sleeping, which means less time they can potentially cause a prison break. Tip number 4. Your prisoners won't spend enough time sitting to benefit from comfortable chairs, so a small table with some simple stools is usually sufficient. Consider using stone instead of wood, since 𝗥𝖎𝖪s may light them on fire. Tip number 5. Prisoners do have an outdoor need. You can remove all or some of the roof of your prison to fill this need. If temperature is a concern, you can specifically open spots above the stools, which should allow the need to fill somewhat without impacting the room temperature. If the prisoners are bedridden, you can remove the roof over their beds. And a small bonus tip just for biotech players: place your gene extractor inside the prison to greatly reduce travel time. Tip number 6. Although we have a great setup, we'll still need to take extra steps to further sedate our prisoners. If you have biotech installed, set all of your healthy prisoners to Hemogen farm. Extracting Hemogen costs no medicine, increases your doctor's medical XP, and gives you a bag of Hemogen. Hemogen, of course, being very useful to recover your own pawns after a messy combat encounter. The prisoner will not suffer any mood penalties from this, but they will have reduced consciousness, which will make them easier to subdue in the event of a prison break. Tip number 7. This next tip is a bit extreme, so I recommend using this only on prisoners that are more problematic. Normally, prisoners will not consume any drugs on their own, unless they have a need for the drug. You can force a Smokeleaf dependency on a prisoner by forcing them to smoke dozens of joints in a row. Once they have a Smokeleaf dependency, you can leave a stack of joints in the prison cell, and the prisoners will begin smoking on their own. Smokeleaf is great for prisoners because it gives them a big mood boost, while reducing their consciousness and causing them to sleep more. Using both Smokeleaf and Hemogen farm together will cause your prisoners to have around 50% consciousness, making them incredibly easy to subdue. Tip number 8. Our prison layout is strong, and our prisoners have mush for brains. But even still, a prison break is possible. During a prison break, prisoners will often go for the nearest weapon. We can use this to our advantage by placing crappy weapons nearby and block them with a single wooden spike trap. The wooden spike trap should be weak enough to hurt but not kill healthy prisoners. If the prisoners don't become downed by the spike trap itself, the injuries combined with our previous methods should make them very easy to subdue. Keep in mind there's always the risk of random serious injury. Tip number 9. If you're in the late game or otherwise have access to bionic brain implants, You can implant these in your prisoners, making them vulnerable to EMP. You can then safely and easily subdue prisoners with any form of EMP. And better yet, the implant can be removed and repurposed once you've recruited the prisoner. Tip number 10. This final tip is by far the most cheesy of all the tips in this video. I don't recommend doing this, mostly because it can be inconsistent and it'll probably get patched at some point. First, place a handful of heaters inside your prison cell, and make sure you have minimal holes in your roof. Place both a powered and unpowered conduit within reach of the heaters. Attach all the heaters to the unpowered conduit and set the temperature to max. Finally, position a non-combat mech or a zonable animal nearby. This will be your blocker. Mechs are the ideal choice here because they don't need food. When a prison break occurs, immediately activate your heaters by reconnecting them to the powered conduit. The prisoners will get stuck in front of the blocker and eventually go down due to heat stroke. Like I said, very cheesy and somewhat inconsistent, so your mileage may vary. And that's all the RimWorld prison tips I have for today. If you have a favorite way to oppress your captives, feel free to share them in the comments down below. If you enjoy RimWorld content, consider checking out the other videos I have here on my channel. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.